When we were all in silence waiting for the words of the captain, who was going to tell us something that seems to be unique, a colossal sized craft loomed and seems to be coming straight at us. One of the boys went up to see what he could spot and shouted as he descended in a violent manner, "They are coming toward us! It is something gigantic!" We all panicked, but Butler ordered to remain calm. Although he remained calm, he seems a bit nervous compared to what he had been experiencing before. This made me more uneasy. Who will be coming toward us in this giant craft? As it got closer, we didn't change the north course. It had a reddish color, and as it got closer we could see that it was more and more immense. I will not deny that I feared for my life and that of the team. I couldn't believe that we had just left the ice walls behind. Something was going to prevent us from continuing to investigate this unknown ocean. I also thought that we were the only ones who had come so far in these areas. We didn't know exactly the depth, but the ocean still looked dark. A deafening sound enveloped us. We could hardly stand it. It was a screeching sound like some kind of horn. Then a voice with a perfect English accent came before us, saying the following: "Dear visitors from the world's lands, some of our men will come down and approach your boat. We will do you no harm. Please remain calm." This message sounds even more frightening. Inside me I thought they might attack us, but it's not like we could escape from there either. This ship was gigantic and looked like something out of a fictional tale from a far future. Butler reassured us by acknowledging that he was aware that something like this could happen, to stay calm and welcome this new visitor in a kind way. Three men were making their way to our ship. This was the first time we had ever had a visitor, and we were not even sailing in familiar waters, nor were any familiar people coming aboard. The men had white suits. Some emblems stood out on them. We helped the men up and they greeted us kindly by shaking our hands. One of them introduced himself as the captain and asked us what we were doing sailing in this area across the world. Butler spoke for him and informed him that we were sailing around the Antarctic Circle and that a current had brought us to the other side, and that we had decided to sail through these areas to investigate it. It would be my impression at the time, but I had noticed a certain camaraderie between Butler and the officers. The same man turned to look at his other two companions and they were amazed at such a feat. They commented among themselves that it had been a long time since they had seen something like this. He apologized for the way they should have approached us and also the way they had to approach. Saying the following words, he explained to us the reason for this concern. "We are very sorry that your visit doesn't seem to be welcome. It really is, but it has been a long time since we had seen people crossing the walls. In fact, we do not know how they left them either. But it doesn't matter now. I will give you this map with directions on how to get to safe lands." This last sentence was not well taken by any of the group. We looked at each other with some fear. I encouraged myself to ask them, "Safe lands, did you say? Are there then unsafe lands? Well, the lands where you came from are quite unsafe, replied the man standing behind. Don't worry, you will get there fine sailing in this direction. It was a unique moment to be able to understand the situation a little. I spoke again as the owner of the boat. Excuse me, where do you come from? I had millions of questions in my head. From the Ancestral Republic, sir, the man answered me in a bounded way. Adding later, don't worry, I understand that you have many questions. I promise you that they will be answered. All the necessary information when you arrive to these lands that we indicate to you. We will inform them that you will arrive so they will receive you. The man withdrew quickly, looking in all directions as if searching for something. The strange visit left us with more questions than answers. Butler didn't hesitate for a moment, and as a great leader, he woke up the group that was still fearful and somewhat hesitant. The destination was clear now. We were heading to a new land called the Ancestral Republic. We sailed for quite a while following the course indicated by this man. Butler indicated that it was important to follow this direction rigorously. When several of us from the team asked the captain about what he was going to tell us before the visit, he preferred not to continue with the subject, as if he had changed his mind outright. Although he told us the following: after what happened, I think we all have to open our eyes. Fortunately, we ran into these people and we can head to safe lands. I think we would not have had the same luck if it was another boat that visited us. Let's remember that there are people we left behind, very powerful people who don't want us to be sailing these waters. Or knowing all this, let's wait to arrive as soon as possible to the Republic, and then you will understand more about this situation. It is something complex, but I'm glad we have crossed the walls. The journey has just begun, comrades. It is time to understand that we are in a war zone doing something unique. The last sentence left us speechless. We all asked together, what do you mean in a war zone? War zone? What kind of war? What kind of war, sir? All the questions were directed to the captain, who answered them all by saying, comrades, pay attention and let's get to these lands indicated. Everything will become clear as soon as we anchor. The temperature had changed quite a bit as we moved away from the walls. In about 30 days, the area enveloped us with a temperate climate. As indicated, we will be close to these lands. Birds of various types began to spot, and vegetation on the waters that were now clearer. I had an inner feeling that we were making history, forgetting a little the captain's phrase that we were in a war zone without knowing it. In that case, I would like to know who was the enemy.